Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this round 8 of Tata Steel. Will be the recap for today, and today we're going to do something a bit different, so please stick around for me. I've got 2 games to analyze in depth, but I am going to show you all 7 games. But the first 5 that I'm going to show you were all draws, so no need to get your heart rate up for those. But I'm going to show you why I haven't been covering all the games every day. None of you have complained about this, but I do feel bad because I only cover like 3 games, 2 games, like 1 game. I only cover decisive results, generally speaking, unless there was like a great escape like Gukesh had a few days ago. And I'm going to show you why. This is what happens in the majority of the other games. So we're going to go to this where you can see the board. Hopefully we don't have lagging. I know it has been bad in the last couple of videos. Hopefully it doesn't lag. I am trying to sort it out and doing my best. So please just bear with me. Write down in the comments if you've got any ideas, if it is lagging, the lagging is really bad. Okay, first game. Jordan van Forest versus Leon Luc Mendonca. This was the most fighting of the draws. So it was d4, knight f6, and we had a Grunfeld defense. And you'll see this is the most fighting of the draws because we actually had a mistake here at some point. We kept going, there was an inaccuracy, a mistake pushing the pawn, but very soon we traded a couple of pieces. Here, queens get traded, we grab some pawns, we trade the knights, the bishops come out, and by this point it's a draw. It was better for white, but they made an inaccuracy, and here they repeated moves, and we're done in 30 moves, they were done. Their day was done, they only had to play 30 moves. Anish Giri, Pentala Hare Krishna. e4, e5, and it was a Spanish. It was a mainline Spanish. And they went here, and Anish Giri does what Anish Giri does. And this is not a negative of him, it's just a fact of chess, is we can get here, we trade the bishops, and, this is what can happen in the Spanish. It is a very fighting opening, but you can also just as easily trade off pieces just like this, where we trade literally everything that you own and make a draw like this in also 30 moves. Vladimir Fedoseev, Nojbek Abdusatorov. You can see it ended with kings. How did we get to kings? E4, e5, and we had a Petrov. Now, Petrov doesn't even try to hide the fact that you're making a draw. It is a brilliant weapon with the black pieces because it is known for being very drawish. Players like Fabiana Caruana, Jan Nepomniachtchi have used it excessively well to make draws, but also to create fighting chances. There were no fighting chances in this game. We traded everything down, as grandmasters do. We trade bishops, we trade, look at this, declining a trade, but eventually we just trade everything. We get this far, and eventually you will just make a draw. We solidify everything. This was one of the longer draws of the game. You can see the players were actually trying. Like, I'm not going to knock them. Like, it was a Petrov that had an imbalanced pawn structure. You got to a rook endgame, and it was a complicated rook endgame. Nojbek and Vladimir Fedoseev had an incredibly tense game, but the evaluation never left 0, so you get this when players play at high accuracy. Nearly had a repetition. It looks like black must be winning because they're up a pawn. They're never winning because the pawns are split, so you will win 1, and then very quickly you will give a check, you'll get your rook back in time, and you will just trade everything and make a draw. Gukesh versus Pragdananda. The Battle of the Indians. We have one every round because there's like 5 Indians in this field. We had e4, e5, knight f3, and it was a Berlin. Not even a mainline Spanish, a Berlin. Gukesh elects to play the Berlin. We trade the bishop for the knight. And we build up the structure, and this is very Berlin-esque. We trade off there, so we give back the advantage of the 2 bishops. And you can see it looks tense. It's not really. Look at this. We can sacrifice the bishop to get the knight. There was a blue inaccuracy. It meant nothing. We trade literally everything. We bring the kings to the center. And the game ends in 33 moves. Finally, the final draw I'm going to be showing you. Alexei Sarana, Arjun, Erigaisi. Look, and some of these players, they've come off defeats or they're having a good tournament, and you can afford to make draws. It's very tight at the top. This was an exchange, Queen's Gambit, where we trade literally everything. Look at this. Move 9. Queens off the board, a set of minor pieces off the board. We go like this, we trade another set of pieces, And eventually the knight will probably grab the bishop and trade another set of pieces. Nope. We keep going and make the draw. 23 moves. Absolute neutralizing of the position. But, oh, I think that spoiled it for you. That's a shame. I thought I cleared everything. So you've had this game spoiled for you, but it is an exceptional game. Wei Yi, up until this point, has made 7 draws in a row. And before I go any further, I need to take a sip of something to drink. My Ben 10 mug. Let me know if you like Ben 10 down in the comments, and let me know if you got this far. Retention on these videos is not great. I'm a small YouTuber, and people go to other YouTubers for their recaps. Max Warmerdam. Wei Yi has made 7 draws. He's played 7 rounds, he's made 7 draws. Today, no draw. We had e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and the Scotch game. We haven't seen a Scotch this tournament, to my knowledge. Maybe I missed a game where there was a Scotch. This is, something you don't see often. The meta at high level is to play the Italian or to play the Spanish. That is it. There is nothing else in this. You play the Italian, you play the Spanish. So to see the Scotch is really cool. Takes, knight takes. As black, you don't take the knight in the center, you develop. So we can take, and you take with the c pawn, the b pawn. B takes c6, because you don't want to trade queens and lose the right to castle. The bishop comes out. And the Scotch is known for being very drawish. Let's not forget. So I'm sure Wei Yi, making all his draws, was happy. And I'm just skipping through the moves because these are relatively simple moves. Black has taken all the center space. They have prevented the knight or the bishop from coming to this square. And, we've developed our pieces in a normal manner. This is what you do. Now we elect to fianchetto the bishop after playing bishop to f1, which is stupid, but it kind of makes sense. We decline trading the dark squared bishop, and we win it. We give up the rook. Very important here. Don't take this. You can. It's fully in exchange, and then white will grab this. Actually, no, white won't grab that. Sorry, white will play bishop b4, attacking the knight and getting the exchange back. Sorry, my head disappeared there for a second. It's been a long day. Anyway, so we do grab the bishop, but the queen comes out, putting pressure on this pawn that you made weak. So we have to drop the bishop back. Now you grab the rook. You can grab in the center, and we trade. And this, from the outside, looks like every other game we've seen today. It looks like it's just going to melt away into a draw. We attack the knight moves. We take, and this looks like a draw. It looks like it must be a draw. But this is really hard to draw. We give grandmasters a lot of flack for making draws, but it's not always as easy as it looks, especially when you come up against someone who's really motivated. Wei Yi is the defending Tata Steel champion, and as you play, you can see, here they threaten a repetition. Like, you could just continue to play, the bishop back here, the king back here, and it's a draw. But nope, someone must break, so we bring the king to the center. Black drops back to defend the light squared bishop and rotates to attack the dark squared bishop. And here, we're going to infiltrate. Remember, white is down the exchange. So white needs to make sure that they get enough counterplay and that there is enough targets for them to play with. Because you've given up the exchange. So you need to make sure that when you've done that, you are going to play properly. An inaccuracy from white, and now black has the initiative. Black always had the initiative. And here is where it all goes right. Knight to c4. Already here, it's very tight, but you can play king d3. You can play rook to c4, which looks strange. Rook c4, knight c4. But this is okay. It's still giving black initiative, but it's okay. And knight to c4 immediately is no good for one move only. And that move is e5, where he finds it. Max Warmerdam down to 3 minutes, where he's got 26. This is problem stations, because you have to take, and now we get the bishop pinned to the king. And you think, my rook's defending, the rook is not defending. The bishop swoops in. And even though you can go here, I can attack the rook, and the rook is trapped. You have to give it up. Now we've got 2 rooks versus 2 minor pieces, and Wei is good enough to make this count. As we get here, and we get all the way here, at any point you can sacrifice for one of the minor pieces, And the final mistake, it's already completely lost here, but we end the game in beautiful fashion. G takes f4 check. Mate in 16. Max Warmerdam getting mated because, quite honestly, there's nothing you can do. You go here, you lose the knight. The king can't keep defense of the knight. It's too much. There's nothing you can do. King to e2 is the best move, but you will get forked. King to f3, and you will get forked. We'll pick up the bishop. You'll be down a piece. It'll be completely over. So Wei Yi wins his first game. He's still undefeated. He's got to be one of the few players in the field that are undefeated. And now we have Fabiano Caruana, Vincent Keymer. And for some reason, that game is spoiled as well. Okay, but we're still going to go through the game. Vincent Keymer having a decent tournament. Fabiano Caruana maybe not having the tournament he was anticipating. We have d4 and d5. Fabiano has played this throughout the tournament. And we get all the way here, and we get the exchange Queen's Gambit decline. And this variation is always better for white for some reason. It always gives white better chances. And it is just slightly better, and white always gets good play. But look what black did. Went here, here, here. Completely nullifying this bishop. But you don't need to worry about that bishop at the moment. So we attack the dog square bishop. It's going to go away. It's going to be passive. And black is going to get good counterplay. So we can play g6. And we can castle. And we can play a5. Taking space on the queen side of space. The knight rotates out again. Can we just highlight the journey of this knight? It went from here to here to here. And now it's become a fianchettoed knight. And eventually probably it'll get to f5. Maybe. And now the other knight moves. We invite to trade. No. Ladies and gentlemen, they've played 17 moves. They haven't traded a piece. Sorry, I lied. They've traded one set of pawns because it was the exchange Queen's Gambit. All of your major pieces, except the pawns, are still on the board. 2 bishops, 2 knights, 2 rooks, and a queen. And obviously the kings. Move 17. You cannot have this forever. Eventually you will have to meet. Eventually somebody will have to do something. So we trade another set of pawns. Sorry. And now Fabi just kind of starts doing Fabi things. Now we bring the knight. Sorry, I need to just... My apologies. Queen gives a check. And we get here. So now, Vincent Keymer's up a pawn. The rook blocks. And a fatal mistake. Bishop to c1. In low time, he only has 3 minutes left. Fabiano's got 7. In low time, move 27. A fatal mistake. But Fabi doesn't capitalize. The winning move here, the only winning move, is incredible. It's knight to d6. It is knight to d6. If Fabiano found this, he wins on the spot. He doesn't. So the queen would retreat. Then you would have bishop takes, and you would find this incredible move, a4. Maybe this is what Fabi missed. He missed that he could play a4, because the queen would have to retreat, and then you would bring in your knight again, knocking the queen away, and winning the bishop back via the pin. Maybe this is what he missed, because obviously you attack the bishop, and we get all the way here. Maybe this is what Fabi missed. Maybe he missed this key idea, and this key idea. Maybe that's what he missed. I don't know. I'm not Fabiano Caruana. I wish I was. Anyway. Let's go all the way back. He plays queen e7. And now the evaluation is 0-0-0 again. Fabi worked so hard, but will he get another chance? Will he get another chance? You already know he will. The question is how. So we trade queens, and we get all the way here. There's a rook hanging. Let's get defended. And we break in the center. And you don't just snap take here. You don't snap take because you activate the knight. There's no reason to do this. You've got to be careful. So, we bring the bishop back. Now the knight retreats. We take, and we grab this. Attacking the rook. And a second fatal mistake. Often, it's not the first mistake that kills you. It's the second one. Rook to f4. And it's only losing again for one move only. And that move is rook to e7. Does Fabiano find it? Yes, he finds it. Rook to e7. Bishop to d2. The last mistake. Take. The bishop attacks the rook, and you've got nothing better to do than give it up. There's nothing you can do. It will be trapped. So we give it up, takes. Fabiano Caruana is now up the exchange. He brings his king in and converts rather effortlessly in the end. He is 2800 most of the time. You just got to make sure white's pawns don't get too far and that you don't, hang a fork. So we push the dark squared bishop all the way back and we always threaten, and he wins the game in lovely style where we get here and Fabiano Caruana sacrifices the rook. Because obviously if takes, you play f2. You can't stop both promotions because you can take this, we promote. And obviously if you're like, well, I can go here. No, you can't because I promote. And then takes and I promote here. You can't stop both pawns like that when they're separated. So Fabiano Caruana wins. And now I'm going to cut the video here. So there will be that brief intermission feed while I pull up the table for you wonderful people. And just like that, we are back. Okay, so the final ranking cross table after round 8. You can see we've got a 3-way tie once again at the top. It is the names you've always been seeing. It is Gukesh, it is Nontebek, and it is Pragdananda. All of which made draws today. Vladimir Fedoseev made a draw today. He's on 5. He's just half a point behind. Then 1 whole point behind. Alexei Sarana, Wei Yi, Fabiano Caruana. Incredible. You can see that Gukesh technically at the moment would win. He is better on tie breaks, so he's given number 1. Then it is Nontebek, and then it is Pragdananda. Right at the bottom, Arjun Erigaisi. Can you believe it? 2801, the second highest rated player at the start of the tournament. Down in 14th. Like, it is incredible. Johan van Forest, Max Warmerdam, the local boys are not quite doing it. Neither is Anish Giri. He's 9th. 3.5 out of 8. He is struggling, but a win in his next round, would bring him up the table. Pentala Harikrishna, kind of mid-table. And then we get into the top 7. Fabiano Caruana, Wei Yi, Alexei Sarana. It is still very tight, but the top 4 are running away with it. Fedoseev has to keep winning, and he can't afford to lose a game, especially against one of those top 3. It will be one of those top 3 probably that go on to win the tournament. Let me know who you think of those 3 will go on to win the tournament. Will it be the world champion, Gukesh? Will it be Nontebek Abdusattorov? Will it be Pragdananda? Let me know in the comments down below.